Hello, how you doing? Are you fine? You look fine. I'm fine too. Whoever's watching and whoever cares. But seriously, I'm here to review two games that I picked up at this game store called Play and Talk. I was going game hunting with my friends Mike from My Passions and Scott from Mardi Gras Gaming. You know them. Their channels are pretty cool. You ought to check them out. They also did a review with me, 8-Bit Christmas, if you want to check that out. I'm sure you do. Oh, and the games I'm going to review is Heavy Rain and Beyond Two Souls. I always wanted to play Beyond Two Souls. I always thought the premise was pretty interesting. But I didn't have a PS3, but when I saw it in that game store on PS4 it also came in the package with Heavy Rain. I thought, I always wanted to play it, so I picked it up and bought it. I eventually played Heavy Rain and beat it too. And I'm here to talk about both games. I'll start with Heavy Rain because it came first, before Beyond Two Souls. Seemed fair. Heavy Rain is an interesting thriller. You play as four characters, and it all is leading to one thing. Who is the origami killer? Ethan Mars is a father who lost his son in a car accident. He tried to save his son from getting hit by a car. He was trying to shield his son, but it didn't work. His son died, and he was left in a coma for a few months. But when he comes out of it, his marriage falls apart, and he has joint custody with his other son. Trying to connect with him is no easy task, but Ethan does the best he could. And Ethan has a blackout, and his son gets kidnapped, and he is put through these tasks by the origami killer. And to tell you the truth, he has to go through hell just to get to find out where his son's destination is. It's like, oh man, you're wondering if, as you play the game, you're wondering, can I at least get to the finish line in time to save the boy? But Ethan's not the only character you just kind of enjoy playing. You get to play as Scott Shelby, private eye, who's also looking for clues on the origami killer. Norman Jayden, this FBI agent who's addicted to this certain drug, I can't name it, and he also has these cool VR-ish like glasses, and that really took me off. That kind of took me by surprise. I thought it was going to be a straightforward thriller, crime thriller, but it has these VR glasses. I wouldn't mind a pair like that existing in real life, but it's interesting how it just shows you how Norman Jayden finds clues, and he's played with such coolness, and he has to work with this detective Carter Blake, and they don't see eye to eye on pretty much anything, and at Carter Blake, you can basically see he's a corrupt cop. He's not interested in. He's always looking for a scapegoat. He's always looking for the glory of it all. He doesn't care who's guilty or who's not guilty. And Jayden kind of recognizes that. Even the scene where he's roughing up Ethan. You get a choice to play if you want him to stop or not, but it's always interesting when you play it in that direction. It's like Until Dawn. It's a very choice. it's a very decision game where your decision has outcomes of your situation. Well, not all of them, but some of them. And you also get to play as Madison Paige. She kind of has a Carrie-Anne Moss look going for her. Well, Carrie-Anne Moss from the first Matrix film. She's a journalist, and she shows she could be tough and emotionally vulnerable too. And she can also be very sexy. And trust me when I say this, it never shies away of how sexy she can be. It never does. And you kind of enjoy playing as all four of those characters. I mean, you're wondering where this is all leading up to, and you'll be surprised when you find out who the Origami Killer is and what's his motive behind the whole thing. And it has several different endings, as you probably saw. I mean, depends on which choice you make or how you handle your situation. That's how the outcome of the game. That's where the outcome of the game goes. And it's a pretty good game, Heavy Rain. So if you're into those crime thriller like premises, I suggest you give Heavy Rain a look. Now on to the next game, Beyond Two Souls, which is basically the X-Files meets the Bourne Identity. You play as Jodie Holmes, a young lady who has a special problem. She has a ghostly entity attached to her named Aiden. And it's also another decision-making game made by the same company who did Heavy Rain. And as the game goes on, well, you kind of give a choice if you want to play it in chronological order or out of mix. I mean, it's like one of those games. It's like a movie where you go through the movie and you experience it through flashback. It's like that type of game, but it gives you a choice if you want to play it either way. And each situation, I mean, Jodie puts herself into, and Aiden does help out through her childhood. I mean, Aiden kind of protects Jodie from certain dangers. Like if she was being shot, Aiden, you could shield Aiden up. You can shield her up. Aiden has the power to shield her up. And it's like a scene where she goes to a party because the doctor wants her to get out more and socialize. So just when things were going well, and then the party turns on Jodie, and then she's labeled as a freak, and they lock her up, and she gets claustrophobic. Aiden gets her out, and you have a choice whether you want to take revenge or not, or just leave. And of course, you can go in and take revenge, but you don't have to take it very far. I mean, if you want to take it far and really kill the kids, or you could just stop midway if you wanted to. That's what makes the game interesting. You're giving that option. And then some part of the game, she joins the FBI. And then some parts she's on the run. So I like those elements. Sometimes the game feels like one of those old shows, like The Fugitive or The Incredible Hulk. You know, she's on the run, and she finds some people along the way and helps them out. Well, she only helps two certain peoples out. She helps a bunch of homeless people out, and it helps Indian ranch who have a special ghostly problem of their own. We'll get into what that is, but anyway, I gotta say, you really like the character Jodie, and it's also fun when you get to play as Aiden too, and there is a surprise at the end of the game who Aiden actually is. If you haven't played the game already, if you played the game already, you probably know who that is, but I'm not gonna say in case you haven't played the game, because it would be secret. Well, that's all I gotta say. Both games, Heavy Rain and Beyond Two Souls, are well done games. Do I have one gripe with Beyond Two Souls? Souls, yeah, well, unlike those other decision games like Heavy Rain and Until Dawn, there's not much consequences for some of the decisions you make. I mean, if you made a bad decision in Beyond Two Souls or even a bad decision in Heavy Rain, okay, maybe not so much Heavy Rain, but in Until Dawn, like if you made a bad decision in Until Dawn, the game lets you know it. I just didn't feel that was here, but that's my only real gripe. I think both games are good, and I think if you're into that sort of thing, check these games out. If you're into a good thriller, Heavy Rain's that game for you. And if you're in for a good supernatural tale, Beyond Two Souls is that game for you. They both are so well done, they kind of feel like movies. Maybe that's the way video game designer David Cage wanted to do it. So I'll give both games a 9 out of 10. Bye bye.